Dearly beloved in Jesus Christ, today's gospel passage is a dramatic narration of typical Palestinian marriage. Through this simile, we are explained how Jesus' administration is towards the ready and the unready on the great day. The gospel passage gives us a vivid explanation about the customs and practices of Palestinian village, but deeply looking into it and applying that to our present scenario, we get some important lessons of Christianity. First and foremost, today's gospel passage speaks about watchfulness that every Christian must have. A watchfulness that one should have in his dealings, in his words, in his charitable works, and in his Christian faith. Watchfulness can be simply translated into readiness. In today's gospel passage, initially all the 10 virgins were ready to welcome the bridegroom. But when the bridegroom delayed in his coming, some of them were proved unready. Similarly, most of us will be very active and diligent Christians initially when the faith was introduced to us. But as the time goes on, we water down our Christian values and Christian faith, or we become unready or unfit Christians to enter into his heavenly banquet. But remember, Jesus told in Matthew 24:13, saying, "The one who persists till the end will be saved." We are called to be ready always to welcome the bridegroom because we do not know the hour in which Jesus comes. Matthew chapter 25:13, it is said, "Neither we know the hour nor the day in which Jesus comes." Therefore, we are told to be ready every moment of our Christian lives. The watchfulness of every Christian reminds us that our primary task of every Christian is to deal with the business of one's own soul throughout his life diligently and carefully. If not, we will also wait at the gate asking to open door for us from the Lord. Therefore, dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, not a single day in a year, not a single hour in a day can be negated from our watchfulness. In other words, every Christian must be watchful in all his actions and deeds every moment of his life. Secondly, today's gospel passage equates the wise virgins with the sincere Christians and the foolish ones with the hypocrites. First, the folly of the foolish virgins is that they have taken their lamp to welcome the bridegroom, but they have not taken enough oil to welcome him well. We are told the bridegroom is delayed, but in the long run, these 5 foolish virgins were proved unready. Hence, they are hypocrites. These are the people who do not have principles in their life. These are the people who go on by the external symbols. Therefore, they don't have a root in themselves in the form of oil that can keep one burning till the Lord comes. These are the people with a spiritual void in their hearts. These are the people like the seed on the rocky ground that waited rooting. On the other hand, wise virgins who had taken oil with them are represented as ideal Christians who can show light to the others. These are the people who were ready to welcome the bridegroom, and these are the Christians who are ever ready to welcome Christ into their midst. Therefore, these are the ones who have light in themselves and who can give light to all others who are living with them. And we are called to become these kind of Christians, sincere, ready Christians. Let us all strive hard for this. Dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, apart from these two messages the gospel gives, there are two important universal warnings that puts forth all of us. The first one is that the gospel passage gives us a warning that we cannot obtain some things at the last moment. It will be too late for a student to prepare for his exam when the time has already arrived for his exam. It is too late for a soldier to learn the techniques of defense when he is in the battlefield. It is good to note that the things that are kept towards the end of the moment are the things that come back to us as a tragedy in our lives. Often we will realize in our practical lives that the things that we postpone to the last moment are not done, or they are done with the minimum requirements. That gives a little fruit in our lives. The gospel passage also gives another warning for all of us, saying, it is not possible to borrow certain things in this world. It is not possible to borrow from others the relationship of God between you and God. You have to acquire it. It is never possible to borrow a beautiful value from others. You have to work upon it and develop upon it. Similarly, there are many more things that you cannot borrow from others. We can never live on the spiritual possessions that the other one has, but we have to acquire it with our own spiritual good deeds. Here I am reminded of an incident that happened when I was talking over a phone. While I was talking to him, I asked him what was he busy with. With a laughter in his face, he responded saying, I am busy these days to reserve a seat for me in heaven. I giggled at him and I told him, can you get one for me too? And he gave a beautiful answer for my question. He said, the place in heaven cannot be borrowed with the good things that others do. Everyone has to acquire the place in heaven with his own good deeds and with his own spiritual activities. Though it was a simple and funny conversation, it was an eye-opener for me. It helped me to think the life that I am leading. It helped me to understand what do I have of my own that can fetch me a place in the kingdom of God. Therefore, dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, today's gospel tells us that we cannot borrow some things from others. We have to acquire it. Finally, today's gospel passage tells that every Christian heart is a lamp into which the oil of grace should be continuously poured, so that our lamp will burn brightly till the Lord comes, where we can enter with Him into His heavenly kingdom. Therefore, dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, in a nutshell, today's gospel passage speaks about two important meanings and two important warnings to every Christian. The first one speaks about the watchfulness and the diligence every Christian must have in his Christian living. And the second one, it tells that we should be wise and sincere Christians instead of hypocrites and foolish ones. Among the two warnings, the first one is, there are certain things in the world that cannot be borrowed at the last moment. And the second warning, there are certain things in the world that cannot be borrowed at all, but it has to be acquired by one's own will and one's own actions. Let us ask God to help us in this regard, that we may become a true, sincere Christians living a life that is worthy of our Christian calling. Let God bless us all.